Hello guys, this is the King Therapod Show. So some people might have been wondering throughout the years, which zookeepers favored the lion or tiger in a fight at Everland Safari here. We've had mixed information coming from different sources here, and I'm going to cover all of the sources and all of the individuals from Everland Safari who favored the tiger or lion in a battle for supremacy. So the first Everland zookeeper we're going to be looking at is Jung Sang-jo. He was the chief and most veteran zookeeper at Everland Safari. With more than 20 years of experience as a zookeeper at Everland Safari, he's gone to see everything that has occurred at the zoological park. During an interview with news reporters in 2009, Jung Sang-jo gave his statement as to who would usually win in a fight between a lion and a tiger at Everland Safari. Now, I have previously found articles talking about the statement that Jung Sang-jo made many years ago. However, this article goes into even more detail about who would win a fight between a lion and a tiger. In the interview, Jung Sang-jo says here that tigers win in one-on-one confrontations. However, it goes into even more detail than the previous article. It goes on to say that the tigers outperformed every other beasts, which includes the lions, in almost every aspect. Now, that's a lot more of a definitive answer and more detailed than what lion fans would like you to believe. And remember guys, that statement's coming from the most senior veteran zookeeper at Everland Safari. So he's gone to see everything that's occurred at the park. So if any of the zookeepers know what they're talking about, it's going to be him. Now, the next zookeeper we're going to be looking at is this particular zookeeper here who gave his statement in an interview while he was on SBS broadcasting. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the name of this particular zookeeper here, but he basically says, if it's a one-on-one, the tiger has a good chance of winning. So just from that particular sense alone, he's clearly indicating that he favors the tiger in a battle with a lion, and specifically just tigers in general when he's talking to the interviewer. He then later goes on to say out of all the tigers, the Siberian tiger is the biggest and the strongest. However, that's more so of a statement of just physical strength rather than fighting ability in general. So that sense that follows up afterwards is merely talking about different aspects of combat rather than combat itself. But in a nutshell, he's basically saying that he favors tigers in general in a fight with a lion. He also says here at the top that the lions were able to have supremacy over the safari, but this was due to the fact that they were coordinated and they formed prides. The tigers did not. So he's making an important distinction between one-on-one fights versus group fights. And once again, we have another zookeeper named Lee Young-won. She goes on in the article to say the most common question from zoo visitors is that who would win in a fight between a lion and a tiger? When the two cats meet, the strongest will be the winner of the two. There are not many lions that can win in a fight with a big Korean Siberian tiger. Now, in this particular question here, she's emphasizing greater advantage for the Siberian tiger. However, the question was tiger versus lion in general. So in this particular sense, she is saying that tigers in general have the advantage over a lion, but she uses Korean tigers as an example to emphasize the greater advantage for them in that situation. So in other words, she also supports the Bengal tigers in a fight as well, but she's just putting more emphasis on the Siberian tigers. Now, lastly, we're going to cover the final example of a zookeeper from Everland that gave their open statement about who they think would win in a fight between a lion and a tiger. Now, this time around, this keeper actually supports the lion in a fight in a battle with a tiger. This zookeeper was covered on Counter-Strike's channel here, and I also covered him previously as well on the forums. Now, this zookeeper here, who's named Lee Young-fil, he's pretty much the only zookeeper that favors the lion in a fight with a tiger. Now, as you can see here from this screenshot that Counter-Strike took here, none of this is actually a direct quote from the keeper here. This here is just the news reporter elaborating on what he's heard. This part here was a direct quote, but the rest of it wasn't. So the truth of the matter is, we only have a direct quote from one zookeeper named Lee Young-fil who favors the lion in a fight with a tiger. There is no other direct quotes from any other keepers who favor the lion. So the part here where it says breeders is most likely just an exaggeration from the news reporter. There are no actual quotes from any other zookeepers who claimed the same thing. Another thing I also wanted to cover was whether or not he was actually a reliable source to begin with. Now, me as well as several other posters were able to question the reliability of his statements here. As we can see here in the article, the zookeeper contradicted himself numerous times. He claims that he believes that the lion would win in a fight with a tiger in a one-on-one, but he uses numerous examples like this one stating that every time the lion had his brother to help him while he was fighting for the supremacy of the safari. He also, in the exact same article, went on to say here that the lions will usually attack the tigers in unison. That means in groups. So in other words, he uses multiple examples of lions attacking lone tigers in unison, but provides hardly any examples of lions winning in one-on-one. The zookeeper Lee Young-fil also left out a lot of information too. He left out the part where his lion that he used as an example in the article, named Poach, was defeated by a tiger named Hogel numerous times. Why would he leave that information out if he was a reliable source and was not biased, right? The fact that he left that information out makes me suspicious about how reliable he is. He also left out a part that was mentioned in dongaa.com here, which mentions the part of the age of the tiger, which begun in 1992. During the early stages of Everland Safari, the tigers ruled the world for a while. They herded and beat the lions. However, this was before the lions formed prides, and it was in 1995 when the lions started to form prides, is when the age of the tiger had ended. So in other words, the tigers were winning before the lions got into prides and factions together. So in other words, the tigers were winning in one-on-ones, but once the lions formed prides together, that's when the tigers started losing. Now, the tigers did eventually form another age of the safari. However, this didn't occur until 2005. This clip here from SBS Story, which is the same one that I got one of my subscribers to translate previously, discusses about the second age of the tiger. In fact, they actually have several videos discussing this here. So there's more than one version, but this one that I'm referring to is specifically this one, which was posted on June 30th, 2020. Now, the translation here from Rask AI is a little bit choppy here, but once we combine all these words together here, the translation is almost basically the same as what my subscriber translated. So basically it went on to say, the tiger ran towards the lion kingdom or leaped. If you miss this opportunity or cannot pass up this opportunity, blah, blah, blah. And without even swinging properly, the lion faction collapsed. Again, very similar to what my subscriber translated, so good job to my subscriber. Alright guys, here, and lastly I wanted to cover this particular forum post that Star Fox, also known as Counter-Strike, made on the forums covering a Everland keeper he claims or thinks is favoring the lion in a fight with the tiger. However, in reality, the actual zookeeper in the article that he thought was favoring the lion is not actually favoring the lion. In fact, they're actually ranking lions and tigers equally in the comparison here. So in other words, the Everland keeper that Counter-Strike thought was favoring the lion in a fight actually had a neutral opinion. He ranked them equally. But yeah, there you guys go. That's the conclusion of this video here. We have 3 supporters of the tigers from Everland Safari that we have direct quotes from with their names and faces versus only one statement from one of the Everland keepers claiming that the lion supported. So we have 3 supporters of the tiger versus only one supporter for the lion. And even then, the lion supporter's opinion is questionable. He left out a lot of information that was very critical. I hope you guys enjoyed this video here. And thanks for watching.